standing. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Texans fans, here at the Texans NRG Stadium lobby right next to the Team Shop. The Team Shop is open till 7 tonight. If you are within the sound of my voice, whether it be here or on the air, we're going to be here till 7 plus. Johnny and I will hang out.
Yeah.
We've got Johnathan Joseph with us. How about that? All-time greatest cornerback in the history of the franchise right here. All-time interceptions leader. All-time pick-six leader.
Wait, I hate to say this.
What?
For now.
Yeah,
for now, because we've got a couple of good ones
I know. We're going to talk to him about that.
Yeah, I know.
And
we got to get to this.
I don't know how he feels because he wants to see the team do well, but my gosh, we
Keep
got an
the
old pro last year, and it's going to keep going here for a while. But it's J-Joe. We played here for 9 years. Correct. Played here for 9 years. So we're going to talk to J-Joe about that. Now, a few things about this show. We haven't been out live in a long time during the season. We've been live in the off-season a few times, but here we are right next to the Team Shop, which is open till 7, like I said. We are giving away opening night tickets, the home opener, not the Rams game. We're giving away Tampa Bay Bucks tickets September 15th. We need the Liberty Whiteout. Liberty Whiteout. And I know I'm speaking to the converted here that they're all going to be wearing Liberty White for that.
Yes.
J-Joe's wearing Liberty White tonight just to get in the mood.
Yeah, I mean, it's after Labor Day. You're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day, apparently. But
Liberty White's acceptable.
We make
it's acceptable.
Exceptions.
Yes. And we're going to give away sideline passes tonight as well. Yes. And numerous other things along the way. So during the breaks, we'll do that to the crowd here. Must be present to win, so sorry, listeners. But this also leads into what I'm going to tell you next, which is we'll be back here next week live. And guess who our guest is? This is unbelievable, unprecedented. Texans Radio live with Nick Caserio right here. Texans Executive Vice President and General Manager. And Nick is going to sing and dance. No, he's not. He is going to answer questions about football and sign a few things. We don't have time to have Nick sign everything out there, but we'll probably do like a signing lottery. Who's been with us since we had, back in the day, we had the Arian Foster show. So we got hands here. Yes. We used to do a 23-person lottery to win tickets to get Arian to sign something, because otherwise we would have been there all night with Arian signing stuff. So it all worked out.
And I'm sure Arian wanted to be there all night, too.
And I don't know what Nick's number was in college at John Carroll, but
I think it was 18. Or it was 18 in high school, because we saw that at his old school last year.
We'll cap it at around 10 or something.
Yeah, whatever.
But we have to get Nick to agree to this. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's awesome to see you. And it's awesome to see Johnathan Joseph on opening week. J-Joe, you look like you're still playing. Is current player Johnathan Joseph here.
How many snaps could you go? How many snaps could you go tomorrow against Puka Nacua?
Oh, tomorrow I can give you as many as you need with that pass rush we have.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah, that helps out considerably, does it not?
Oh, this is a game changer. Obviously I was best to play with J.J. Watt, Whitney Mercilus, and those guys. So anytime you have a pass rush, the ball got to come out quick. Gives the defensive coordinator more confidence in giving calls to where the guys in the back end can hold up.
So I don't mean this in the way it's going to come out, but how much did that allow you to cheat a little bit?
Oh, it's everything, because if I don't have a pass rush, I'm almost, telling the defensive coordinator we got to go to a different game plan.
Yeah.
Because the quarterbacks are so good in this league, and the offensive coordinators, you're up against so much. So to have those pass rushes, it just speeds the process of the offense so much and kind of swings it back into your favor.
Yep.
Yeah, because you'll get some bad passes thrown. You can capitalize on those. But one thing I want to get into, and we can expand on this later, is, and a lot of you know this about J-Joe, some of you might not, but you were really a coach on the field for these guys. For your defensive teammates and also for the offense.
Yeah.
I remember interviewing DeAndre Hopkins, and he said, well, I'd ask Johnathan Joseph what I should be doing here. And the guys coaching each other, that makes a team so much stronger.
I think so. I think when I first got here, I was obviously one of the older guys on the team, and then I grew into that role even more when Bill O'Brien came here. He kind of forced players on the defensive side to learn what the offense was doing and vice versa. And it helped me even more just because I knew exactly what an offensive player had to do or he wasn't getting the ball. And that's all what matters to me. If you don't do this, you're not getting the ball. So some guys would think they would be open at times in practice, but if they don't cross my face or get to this exact spot, it doesn't even matter. So that's how I look at it from a defensive standpoint to help the offensive guys. You have to do this or it doesn't matter, or you got to be quick, or you got to get to this spot because I know all the weaknesses on our side.
And you face two guys in DeAndre Hopkins and Andre Johnson every day in practice. Two different great receivers. I want to say how much fun that was going against those two guys. They're probably some guys you wanted to dominate and didn't want to see those guys on certain days. But how did those two guys individually make you better, Jonathan?
Oh, man. Andre, obviously, Hall of Famer, Hop on that same trajectory. You know, different skill set, but at the same time, every time they line up across you, you know the ball is probably coming their way, and it's a fight, and it's a challenge. I think, I praise Andre for getting here when I got here, keeping me sharp, having a chance to go against him each and every day. And then also we drafted DeAndre Hopkins, which, I had to face a younger guy, which helped my longevity out, bringing in a guy like Will Fuller, that also had tremendous speed. So just going against guys like that, and the mentality that those guys have is a different mentality, because if you don't think you're the best, or if you don't think that I'm open every play, or throw me the ball when three guys on me, you're not one of the top wide receivers in this league.
There were so many great wide receivers in this league, and I don't know that Will ever got to what we thought his potential could be, but he had a different kind of speed. Like, there was such an easy, smooth speed, and you realize, this dude's running past me, and it doesn't even feel like it. He's going by everybody. How tough was that with a guy now, you had speed too, but his speed was just a different level.
Will was scary. Will was a special talent. Obviously, he had injuries and things, but I just remember that one year he had when he was here, and he was just running by everybody. Yeah. And I remember the next year when I went to Tennessee, and I would not call those guys individual names out. But when I got to Tennessee, nobody wanted to play. I ended up being the third cornerback, but when we played the Texans, I was a starter all of a sudden, because nobody wanted to go against Will Fuller in that game. And he went for like 150 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah.
J. Joe, let's talk about Derek Stingley Jr. and his progression. Obviously drafted very high by this team, really great in college initially, kind of had some injury issues and other things, but didn't hurt his draft status. And now here he is, all-pro, coming off a dynamic 2024 season. What do you see in him, and what makes him so good?
I think the pedigree, first and foremost. Obviously, his dad been around him, training him ever since he's been young. He's been a top player coming out of high school, 5-star recruit, going to LSU, following in the footsteps of Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu. You just go down the list of all the corner and defensive backs that came out of that school. And then I think his own work ethic and his own determination, like you said, having some injuries and bouncing back from that, but being able to face the pressure. It's easy to come out of nowhere and get lucky sometimes, but he's always been the guy ever since he's been probably 15 years old. So it takes a lot to walk around with that chip on your shoulder. And for me to see it, and I talked to him last year right before training camp in his pops. And I remember my third year when I was in Cincinnati and how it kind of took off for me, and the game slowed down, and you seen the year you had last year. And now when I just look at every video, it almost looks comical, because the game slowed down so much, it looks like he's not even trying hard.
Right, because the movements seem slow, but he's always there.
He's always there, exactly. And I remember at times in practice when I was up there, and the guys would always, when they started doing the catapults and putting how fast guys run, they would always come and be like, you never went over 16 miles per hour. But I'm like, why would I run fast if I'm not beat or if I'm in position? Most guys that have to run at 22 miles per hour, they chasing for their life.
Right.
Joe, one of the things I realized last year, I knew it about Stingley before that, but his football IQ is off the charts. Right. And that was something that we always we talked about a little bit earlier. Like, guys wanted to know what you thought. I'll never forget when DeAndre sat across from us and was like, yeah, I see J. Joe out when I come to the sideline. And we looked at him like, what? You don't go to an offensive coach? And he goes, no, I go to J. Joe. He's the one that knows it. But his football IQ really flourished, and I asked him about the interception against Miami. He's covering Tyreek. And he talked about on the interception, he went 2 plays prior, and he talked about how Tyreek had a different release, and he kind of clocked it so that when Tyreek had a different release on the play they actually intercepted it, he kind of put it all together, and it was like his football IQ is off the charts. How important is that? He's multi-talented, but how important is that part of the game that upstairs you're pretty sharp and he's pretty sharp as you were?
Because it's a game within a game when you're out there as a wide receiver. Like, every play is not going to be a pass play. Every play you're not going to be involved. So it's a lot of times when people don't see what's really going on is when a wide receiver during a run play is giving us a release.
Yeah.
And most times they actually really get us because they can mess around and do more because it's not a real pass play.
Right.
But all they trying to do is see what they can actually do when it's that time.
Right.
So us as defenders, we have to remember that. We have to remember formations. We have to remember certain things when we were beat or what position we was in.
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to come back to it because it's the eye in the sky also that helps everybody out, the guys looking from the press box.
Okay, so I asked Derek that day on radio, I said, hey, take me through that interception. How did you make that interception? What was it that you saw? So same challenge to you. Buffalo Bills in this building, 2018, fourth quarter. You pick and take it to the house. Take us through how that happened.
I had a similar play like that in college. I just remember, like you said, it was kind of like right before that. It was obviously 2 minute, in fourth quarter trying to come back in the game. So offenses are limited. They don't have their whole playbook, understand clock situation awareness, what they got to do, whether they got to get out of bounds, whether they have timeouts to burn. And if you look at that interception, you remember it. Tyrann Mathieu knew also. Yeah. He came from the far field and tried to get my interception. He should not have been there. Right. But we both was thinking the same thing because we seen a younger guy in there, and he seen it was open, but he went the other way. Right. And most times coaches just go, what they say, Xerox, just run the same thing and run it again. And I already had an idea on it. And we had a soft cover 2 coverage, but I wanted to make it look like 4. Yeah. So if you go back and look, I actually was just acting like I was moving and inching, but I wasn't going anywhere. And the quarterback from that distance, they can't really tell.
Rumor has it that you in the huddle said, I'm going to go get this thing. You said that in the huddle?
We had the right call. When you have that call, when it's drawing up for you and it's kind of the right thing, you almost feel so bad for your teammates when you don't make a play like that because the coach had the right blitz on, the right call. Everybody just has to do their job, and my job was, to read it right and break on the throw and finish it off.
Johnathan Joseph with us. What else do you see in this defense? What would it be like for you to play in this defense? And you were a teammate for a year here with DeMeco Ryans. Now he's the head coach, and he's got his fingerprints obviously all over this thing. What do you see when you see the Texans defense take the field and play?
I see a brotherhood. That's the first thing I see first and foremost. Because a lot of times when you have so many good guys on the defense or on the team in general, guys start to separate because guys worried about, am I going to get paid? Am I going to get recognition? Am I going to get Pro Bowl and this and that? You don't see that with none of the guys on this team at all. Even when I see these guys outside of football, they're always together. They hang together. They do everything together. I can almost be 100% certain if I see one guy, I'm probably going to see the other guy or this guy, and that's always been like that. So when I see it on the field, when guys make plays, it's just even more because they're playing for each other. Even it's the backups. You look in the preseason, when the backups and the starters are not playing, when the guy makes a play, everybody on the sideline runs out and celebrating those guys. And you don't see that around the league, so it's the culture that he's created here from a team and brotherhood, but also everybody has to keep this standard.
That's
Jonathan, how much does a trip to the Greenbrier, a trip to Richmond, the greatest line ever in Hard Knocks history, is the very last line of that first show. It was tremendous. But what are those?
You know what he's talking about, of course.
Yeah, oh, he knows. Yeah. I can't say it on air, but
you should have a bumper sticker on your car.
Let's just say everybody wanted to get out of Richmond really, really fast. But what are those trips and those opportunities when you have joint practice and you get away and it's just a team, it's just a staff, it's just you guys out on your own. Families are back here, but it's just those guys. You did that. I know you guys went to the Greenbrier, went to Richmond. This team went to Detroit, went to the Greenbrier as well. What does that do to foster the camaraderie amongst the team?
It brings guys closer together because you're forced to, spend time with your teammates. You're forced to do things that you probably naturally wouldn't do if you're in a hotel at home or things like that. Because I've done the same thing when I was in Cincinnati. We went to like a college and had training camp elsewhere. But being in Greenbrier where you can actually do hunting, you can do all these different activities and spend time together, I think – so that's some of my fond memories because now I look at it, me, Brian Cush, and Kareem Jackson, a lot of us, we have group chats. And a lot of pictures that circulate back through that group chat is from the Greenbrier where we're spending time at.
Were you taking pictures of Shane Leckler and Kaimi out fishing while they should have been at practice?
Yeah, but when I got out there, they know who's the top fisher, though.
They
didn't know I had it in me.
Okay.
But Leck can legitimately, Leck is an outdoorsman, but I was right there from clay shooting to whatever it was.
I think Leck was there for the first 10 minutes of practice, and he was in the water after that. I'm pretty sure. Kaimi confirmed that this past
The one
trip
who was upset was Cush because, he's a Jersey boy, but he want to be an outdoorsman at the same time. So
so Cush has got to go through practice, and Leck was already out there.
Yeah, he wasn't winning everything out there. He was upset.
Well, the second year you were there, you went on a 9-game winning streak at some point during the season after the Week 3 game, started a 9-game binge. That's the longest winning streak still in the history of the franchise. When you're on one of those rolls, and we want this team to get on a roll like that, what is it like? You don't know if it's going to keep going or end or whatever, but what does that do for the team? How do you get on a roll like that, J-Joe?
Yeah, as funny as it sounds, it's a simple message, just 1-0.
Yeah.
Because you can't look too far and looking like, we have, I'm just throwing it out there, but it's the draft we have it, the Carolina Panthers next week. You can't just mark that off because it's still the NFL, so you have to show up every week. You can't lose that focus. Mm-hmm. And I think it all goes back to the top where that same message has been each and every day, whether it's the practice field or whatever you're doing around the building, because they just want to spread and be contagious. So when you let little things seep in, it show up in the game. and you got to look at yourself in the mirror and have some self-correction. So it's really hard. You know, I always remember, and I don't want to bring it up, when we had that bad losing streak here. We always talked as teammates. Is it harder to go on a 14 losing streak or win 14 games in a row? And we all agree we think it's harder to lose 14 than win 14.
Yeah. Especially with the talent you guys had.
Exactly.
Right. But it was just like everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it was everything that could go wrong. Okay. Do you remember your first interception of your career? Do you remember your last interception of your career?
First for sure. New York Jets. Chad Pennington. 55-yard interception return, or 52 at home in Cincinnati.
Do you remember your last one?
Yes, I do. Ooh. I got an interception with every team, so it had to be in Arizona.
Okay. You got one with every team?
Nice.
Every team I played for, so yeah. It was in Arizona. It was in Arizona.
Boy, that was heartbreaking, you going to Arizona.
No,
Okay, never mind. I'm
me-
not going to get upset
No, let me
tonight.
tell you what's heartbreaking.
Not getting upset.
To be in the stands for a COVID game and look across and he's wearing a Titans jersey. Look, I know business is business. Like, I understand
It
that.
was actually backwards, though. I was supposed to sign with Arizona first,
Right.
Really?
but Arizona didn't really want to give me any money.
Yeah.
So I went to Tennessee.
And then went to
With
Arizona.
Vrabes.
Yeah.
Went with Vrabes.
Yeah, I went with Vrabes, where I was kind of comfortable for the most part, but I don't think it was a good fit for me.
Yeah. It
All
just
right.
was. There are players that you look at and you go, that doesn't look right. Like I saw you in a career like in a Cincinnati jersey, that didn't even look right. It was like just I got so used to seeing you in a Texans jersey, like that one looks right.
Andre
I like
Johnson in a Colts jersey, I am still recovering.
That is-
Okay? I still need
Yes.
therapy over that, all right?
Therapy bill was very large on that one.
Johnathan Joseph is here. We are right next to the team shop. It's open till 7. Get your Texans gear. Liberty Whiteout, September 15th against the Bucks. That's the home opener, and we need that Liberty Whiteout that day. And, of course, opening day is Sunday, 3:25 against the Rams. Yes! It'll be live right here. We're going to get J. Joe's thoughts on the Rams. Matthew Stafford, who's been in the league since J. Joe was a baby, and he's still in the league. So
Did you pick him off?
We'll talk about. Of course he has. I think we'll go over that. We'll go over that. And I also want to review last summer because Hall of Fame for Andre Johnson, and he's also the co-host of Goat Talk.
That's right.
And he's done some great shows, man. So we'll talk about some of that stuff. It's coming up here on Texans Radio. It's Texans Radio. Mark Vandermeer, John Harris, and Johnathan Joseph with us here at the Texans Team Shop. We are live, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Great crowd here tonight. Thanks so much for being a part of the show, giving away sideline passes and tickets to the Tampa Bay Bucks game. That would be the home opener, September 15th, yes?
Okay, so we were talking about this during the break about whether nobody got Matthew Stafford in 16. JJ got him in 2020, but okay.
JJ picked him
now
off,
I'm curious,
pick 6.
2016 defense was number 1 in the league.
Right.
Listen to this defense, by the
Okay.
way. In the middle, DJ Reader, Vince Wilfork.
Pretty good.
On the outside, Clowney, Mercilus. Linebackers, Cushing, BMAC. Corners, J. Joe, Kareem. At the nickel was A.J. Boye. Safety, Andre Howe. And Corey Moore started at strong safety in that game.
In that game. But there were other
That's-
starters at strong safety occasionally.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a good defense.
That's a really good defense. I mean, that 2025's got something to live up to with that group. Holy smokes. That group was good.
And it changed because you go to the Pro Bowl in 2012, and Whitney's playing. He's a rookie. Watt's obviously out there. Is Barwin still there in 2012?
Yeah, Barwin.
And Sean Cody's still there in 2012. Yeah, so things really changed. I mean, you went into a whole other era. You almost played in 3 different eras here with the Houston Texans, and 2 of them were O'Brien-type eras because he had a mix of the Kubiak players and his guys, and then he had his own guys. But you were still here with Kareem and obviously Watt, so interesting. But Matthew Stafford, I know you've watched him plenty of times. I mean, this guy was the number 1 pick in the 2009 draft. He's still going with the Rams. That's pretty impressive.
I'm glad, he finally got his chance. Obviously, been in Detroit for years, he didn't have some of the best overall winning seasons. So a lot of people didn't really get to see what he can do on a national stage. And then when he go right to L.A. out there, those guys right on to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I think, it's just good for him to still be around the league. Obviously, he's tough. He's been banged up some, but he fights through it and he gets out there and he tries to lead his team to victories.
He's a little after you at South Carolina when he was at Georgia, right? Or did
Yes,
you guys
I think
face
he
him?
got drafted in 2008 or 9.
Yeah, he was 2009.
Yeah.
You were 2006. Okay, all right. So, yeah, he was a little bit after you. But the one thing is I'm going down those names, I kept thinking this. I would say this a lot of times when you guys are playing. There's so many SEC players. And it's still kind of that way that there are so many of them. Obviously, we love Alabama players here, which Nick will confirm next week. But what is it about playing in the SEC that made guys ready day one to step in and be contributors in the NFL?
Man, it's deep conference. Now it's even bigger now, but I think each and every week you got some of just the top talented guys from across the country. I remember my first year because I went to junior college when we went to play the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And we opened up with Central Florida, and we played Georgia the next game. I know they had Thomas Davis, Greg Blue, and all those guys.
Yep.
And I just looked across. Everybody seemed like they was 6'3", 6'4", 240. I'm like, where they find these guys at? And it's just been a common thing. You see, obviously, Alabama had that big run where they had all the D linemen, the offensive linemen, and just the wide receivers. But the SEC, because I think, they go from Georgia, Florida, Texas, a lot of these times have the most NFL talent. So you pull in from the top talent in the nation also.
Johnathan, West Coast games, how challenging is that to the body clock, whatever? They're going to go out early, a day early, kind of get acclimated. I know it's not like going to Nova Scotia or something or London. You did that
2 hours
too.
does matter.
But 2 hours, because you know what happens when I was thinking about this. You get out there, you land. Let's say it's 5 to 6 o'clock local. Well, it's already 7 to 8 o'clock your time. And so it gets to be 10, but it's midnight. So you're already past your bedtime, so to speak. And I know you guys are pretty particular about that kind of thing. You athletes, you need your rest. You need your routine, so you want to get on a routine, right?
Absolutely. And I think it starts from training camp from the moment that you start to get on the game schedule. Like after that last week in camp where a coach try to have everybody practice around the time that the game is going to be throughout the week so your body get accustomed to being on all cylinders at that time. And now when you go to the West Coast and the game is 2 hours behind, or if you're coming from the Far East, 3 hours behind, now everything that you did on that time schedule has been shifted up. So now you got to kind of adjust to it. And I think when I look over the years, every time we go over there, it easily starts off slow. Most teams just because you got to travel far. You got to get accommodated. You don't think much into it. But like when I was in Cincinnati, we would leave an extra day early. If we go into the Far West, we would leave on a Friday just so guys can get their body used to being on the schedule. And I don't know if that would lead to wins or not, but, everybody have a different way of doing it. But I think for, a young team, obviously going over there, you can lose focus also because different things, different distractions.
The Texans have only done it once in the history of the franchise, gone to the West Coast a day early. And they won. It was against Oakland in either 07 or 08. So at Oakland, they did it. It worked. If it works this time, it's happening forever.
Well, we
Every
did it.
time you go West Coast.
We did it to the East Coast in 2014. We played the Giants. We flew on a Friday night.
That was kind of weird because it's a 1 hour time difference. It's the East Coast. And we didn't win,
was a
so
night
that
game,
never
right?
happened.
I think O'Brien just wanted to get there and eat Italian food. That's what I thought. But I loved it because we got a whole day
in New York.
We had a whole day in New York. That said, where was your favorite place to play, other than here? Where was a place that you liked to visit? I remember DP told us a story about in 2016 we went to Minneapolis and she was on the bus. And she was going to Mall of America, and then all of a sudden, all the DBs, you and Kareem and everybody got on the bus with her and went to the mall to go shopping. What was your favorite place to go?
My favorite place.
So you could have a place to play and maybe win or play where you played well, or just I like this road trip because it's cool. We might go out to dinner or whatever.
I say Baltimore.
Really?
Okay. Baltimore.
Being down on the water?
Being down on the water. I played there in Cincinnati. I would say Baltimore. I say Baltimore and Jacksonville.
Okay.
Baltimore and Jacksonville. And for me, I'm from South Carolina, so it's a place to where my family can drive up to the game. People can come up, and I've always played well in those cities.
Yeah. Speaking of South Carolina, you stay in touch with JD?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's he doing?
That would be Clowney.
Jadeveon
Clowney.
He's doing well. He's definitely going to play this year.
Really?
I think he's waiting on the right situation.
Yeah.
He's still here local in town. So.
Yeah.
He played well last year.
He did.
He put up some numbers last year.
He did. He was on, he was on the Panthers team, young team. So you know how that goes. Bad timing, a lot of things. When you're making the most money or you're at the top of the chain, you're normally the first guy showing the door also.
So your alma mater got a nice win this weekend.
We did.
And I actually met Shane Beamer at the Lombardi Award. I emceed that, so that was pretty cool. And I was dropping your name. I was like, I kind of know Johnathan Joseph.
I know Gamecock royalty.
Yes.
We got that little
I know somebody. Goat Talk, and many of you have probably seen or heard this. We've played segments on the show as well. You and Andre Johnson do a podcast, and you've had a lot of great guests on, including Shaq, and I think Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, JJ himself, I believe.
Will Fork? Do you have Will Fork?
Will Fork.
Kubiak. Uncle Luke.
How do you like doing that? Being the host, JJ.
I enjoy it. You get to do research. Obviously, you know a little things about some of these people.
Right.
But when you start to do some of the research and you start to see some of the incredible stories or journeys that these people taking to get where they got, and obviously you being on the podcast is your job to get that information and spread it out to the guests and the audience. So it's something different, but it's something fun that I enjoy because it keeps me around the game. It keeps me being knowledgeable about the game, and also showing and paying respect to those that earn their due.
I've said this to a lot of people because they ask me about working in an NFL building. I'm like, look, I walk in the locker room and these dudes are Greek gods, man. They're just 6'3", 230. I mean, even DBs, they're just ripped and strong. You just wouldn't believe it. And then there's Shaq. What was it like standing next to Shaq and shaking his hand and just looking up at Shaq? What was that one like?
Shaq a big guy. It's funny because he's so big, but I just look at him like I remember when he was in Orlando, when he's doing the break dance, or he's flying up and dribbling the ball up the court. People see him now like he's massive now, but I just remember when he was slender, when he can just fly up and down the court.
Slender 360.
Ripping backboards down with dunks.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody can be that big and move the way that he could.
Absolutely. And I had one chance to meet Shaq when I was in college, and I didn't get to go on that road trip because he was neighbors with my college long snapper, Ike Crowfoot.
Oh.
Okay.
What's his name?
Ike Crowfoot.
Oh, man, that's a good name.
That is a great name.
It's a play-by-play announcer. I love that name.
Ike Crowfoot.
It's a character in a Mark Twain novel.
Yeah, that sounds like, exactly.
That's crazy stuff.
Ike Crowfoot.
Andre Johnson getting into the Hall. What was your experience around that when Andre got in? And when Watt gets in, we'll all be there again.
Yeah, I think the Hall of Fame, you hear about it each and every year. Obviously, it's the top echelon of the guys that ever touched the NFL and to play in the league. And obviously, Andres did great things. So just to see him earn his time, obviously he wasn't the first ballot. And that's sometimes doesn't be in your hands to control. And I think the whole city been behind him. Obviously, he's the first Texans. And it's hard to do that for a first franchise because you don't have anybody to show you the ropes or nothing. You're trying to put it on your back, get established. And he showed dominance, showed consistency, and did everything. And some people didn't take that into account, when they're voting you in and doing that. But me being a teammate, being a competitor on other teams facing him, he's right up there with all those top guys because he shows up each and every game. You know what you're going to get out of him. He dominates. He put up however many yards for multiple seasons. He's a class act out in front of the franchise. Got a statue here, well-deserving. So those people are hard to come by, and he one of one.
I'm so glad he got in because we didn't have a winning season until his 7th year. We didn't have a playoff season until his 9th year. We had a winning season in his 7th year, and then we have a losing season to follow that up with. So,
in today's football, nobody would any superstar would be gone today.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like today they would not stick around for 3 years.
Right, trade, gone,
I'm
whatever.
I'm gone.
Something would have happened
I'm gone.
along the way.
I already had enough money in college. I don't care. I'm gone.
That's a great point. That's a great
They
point.
would not stick around today.
That's a whole different animal too. The money you get in college now.
Yeah.
I mean that aspect. Hey, I've got money. I'll go elsewhere. I can try and find it elsewhere. Speaking of that, in 2011, you guys it's the lockout. You're a free agent. Can you take us through that summer, that process, and how just unique and different that was in 2011 before deciding to come to Houston?
How many people, this is like where were you when, how many people remember where you were when we signed Johnathan Joseph?
I was on the air. I was doing overnight. I was doing my overnight show, and the lockout was over, and I had seen Johnathan Joseph and Daniel Manning coming to Houston. I was like, whoa.
Well, I was in the car.
Yeah.
We got J-Cho. It was that night, and I was like, yes! And then I woke up, and we got Manning overnight.
Yeah.
And I thought, we did it! And I felt like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas when he's in the shower, like, Jimmy! I thought,
but when you're signed as a free agent, you go through OTAs, you go through minicamp, you go through off-season stuff. 2011, well, you're locked out. You can't do anything. You can't sign. Did you have an idea it was Houston? What was kind of that process of the summer?
I had no idea because it was a lockout. So it was a weird year because normally under any other circumstances, I probably would have got the franchise tag. But since it was that special year, the lockout, it was no salary cap, if you remember.
Right, that's
so
right.
by being no salary cap, they had to give out tenders. So the Bengals being the Bengals, they gave me original round tender. So it was a first round tender, but it wasn't a
big offer.
The big offer. It wasn't a tag.
Right.
So I was a free agent, and I already knew at that moment that I probably wasn't coming back just because we had already got that far. And so we were just going to high school working out. Now that I remember about it, we were just going to the high school, and then words were coming out that the lockout probably would get lifted. And obviously the lockout got lifted, and then I remember the first team that called me was the Oakland Raiders. Ooh. And they offered the most money, actually. And then I was like, nah, I can't do it. It's just I didn't want to go out there just from a scheme and everything.
They got
else.
Nnamdi.
Yeah, they had Nnamdi. And Nnamdi was in to come here. Yep. You know, and
there are a lot of people in Houston that were talking about Nnamdi, and if the Texans didn't get Nnamdi, it was going to be a bad Texas
disaster.
team. Like, no, we got the right guy.
And it was Detroit and Tampa Bay.
Right.
But I really wanted to come to Houston because obviously I met Andre Johnson, Fred Bennett, Dante Robinson.
That's
who
right.
Played at South Carolina before me. He was always telling me good things about it here. And Fred Bennett got married, had a wedding, and I met Andre there. And Andre was like, man, you got to come play with me, man. Come on, man. We're going to be good. We got all this talent down here. And I had no chance, no idea at all. The last person to call my phone was Rick Smith. And he called, my agent called me, was like, hey, man, we got a deal done. And I'm like, we got a deal done? I haven't even had a conversation yet. But I guess the money and everything was right, you know, on that end. And then it just seemed like it was just a natural fit for me to come here and having that conversation with Andre Johnson and then signing Danielle Manning, who was also drafted the same year with me. I had a close connection with, and to come here and then just to take off like the way we did. Yeah. It couldn't have been a perfect fit for me. It couldn't have been any better.
One of my favorite pictures ever is joint practice with the Texans and the Saints, and Aaron Glenn is here as an assistant coach with the Saints, and you're playing for the Texans, and you guys are talking. I said, listen, let's take a picture, and I get in the middle. So it's one of those. I hijacked the moment. Sorry. But it's a great picture. I love it. So if we ever play the Jets, I need you to come by and get Sting and get all three of you guys.
Before and after.
Let's
picture.
go.
Yeah.
But you and AG, you knew each other. How did you know each other? Now he's the head coach of the Jets. It's pretty cool stuff. And you're both Texans, so I love that.
I follow football, and I always look at the guys that do it the right way, guys that make plays, guys that have durability. And he was a local guy here in town, you know, still staying around the area.
Right.
And he would train me in the offseason some years.
Oh, really?
Like me and Kareem Jackson. Yeah, out in Sugar Land, because he still had his house out in Sienna, out in Missouri City.
Yeah,
So we would go out there to, I think it was Baines Middle School. Mm-hmm. So he would train us out there on the field. And I can tell right then and there, you know, who's going to be, he's probably going to be a head coach or a defensive coordinator one day for sure.
Okay.
But we knew instantly when we had that joint practice because we had walkthroughs, and the Saints guys was playing around in walkthroughs, and he was on them so bad. Man, Kareem Jackson just kept saying, man, AG out of his mind. But it showed us, like, how serious he was about attention to detail and all those small things. So we knew at that moment it's no different with D'Amico. Like, when D'Amico here, we can joke and laugh and play and have fun, but the moment that D'Amico walk up and we're all grown men, everybody's, all right, let's get serious, y'all. Let's get
Oh, really? Okay.
So
it's time.
It's just we know guys who have a certain role and the respect that they demand and what that means to that team, and AG was no different, I'm sure, on every team he was on.
Joe, did it matter to you whether you had somebody, like AG played the game, he played at a high level, D'Amico played the game, played at a high level. Did it matter to you, the people that were coaching you, whether they played the game at all? Did that help in how they coached you? What was that like if you had somebody that didn't play the game? How hard was it for that coach to kind of earn your respect?
I think as a coach, this is my opinion, you earn respect from when you walk in that door and you hold everybody accountable and you just be the same person each and every day. Like, I don't want, playing for a coach, he's going to be up and down. I don't know. I think that makes it hard because now the player, he's guessing and he don't know.
Right.
Because we in this building each and every day. So just being yourself and just holding guys accountable, I think guys respect that the most. Yeah. The coaches who don't is the coaches who don't hold guys when everybody in the room can see when a guy does something wrong. And every time you don't have to always tell Andre Johnson or myself when I do something wrong, but at times you have to tell that player so the other people in line can see that you will say and correct those guys.
I've heard coaches say the best teams, and I've heard people say this, the best teams are player-led teams. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, because I think it sets your culture. The coach is not in the locker room. They're in the classroom, meeting room, in the field, but they're not in the locker room. So in that locker room where guys earn each other respect and who are taking it serious, we're all in meetings together, who go home and study, what everybody does. So I think in that locker room is where you earn your respect from the players when you go on the practice field. Like, you can be the toughest guy to me in the world outside of football, but if you go out there and you're not tough on the football, it's hard to earn my respect from a football standpoint.
Right.
All right, give us a family update. What are the kids up to?
Oh, man, my oldest in college. He's just kind of chilling and doing his regular college routine. My 17-year-old's a senior this year. Played last week. We didn't get the win, but he has a couple offers. He have a chance to go play college football next year. He's at Stafford.
Okay.
And my daughter, we softball, fall ball.
Wow.
So we travel in
all
softball.
year long.
I thought she was going to go into broadcasting, J-Joe.
Hey, I want to get
you
into
still
it.
can?
I still can. I
You
wish
still
I
can
might
do
have. I'm
that?
looking forward. In my 6-year-old, we got our first flag game this weekend.
Oh, nice. You coaching?
Not at all.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to deal with that.
So,
Oh, my
yeah.
gosh.
Okay, so 6-year-old first flag, you laugh about it, but just because it's little kid football, I think, is the funniest because it's like this little mob that just kind of moves around. You don't even know the ball is just this mob of kids, and then there's always one picking flowers over on the side.
And it's funny because he's learning football.
Yeah.
Like he's a super athlete, but he's learning football because he came up in a basketball AAU gym with my other kids in the gym.
Yeah.
So his favorite sport is basketball. So he'll look at me and be like, "Were you any good in football?" Because he don't have a clue yet. He's still learning it and figuring it out.
That's beautiful.
You
That's great.
broke it out the YouTube's like, yes, this is me right
Like
here.
his hero is his brother Johnathan because he gets to watch Johnathan do it. He don't think I can play.
Yeah. Kids will keep you humble. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes, they
they
can.
don't care. They don't
Yes.
care. It's great. Wait, does Hannah McNair know about this? Because Hunter is, I think she's 6 now.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I think
she can
Yeah,
break
she's-
ankles.
Yeah, she's playing. They just told me about it because my son's out there, and they said it's 3 girls or 4 girls because Cecil's coaching the team with Cal.
Oh, okay.
And my daughter was the last one. She played when
course
she
he
was
is.
that same age, and she made the All-Star team over there
Oh.
in that league. Yeah, my daughter played also
Very nice.
when she was young.
Very nice. Oh, that's good stuff. Now, I know you've thought about coaching,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you've done, like we said, you co-hosted Go Talk. You did that, not dream job stuff, but it was
internship.
Like, yeah, with the league,
With the
right?
league, yes.
Yeah, the, what is it called? It's boot camp. Broadcast
Yeah,
boot
broadcast.
camp.
I did a
Yeah.
broadcast boot camp.
Boot camp different than dream job, but
Yeah, a little bit.
depends how you look
No,
at
they
it.
should have a dream job. They should award a dream job, make
My
it a
dream job
reality
ain't going
show.
through boot camp.
Hey,
I can
that's
promise you
fine.
that.
For sure.
No,
but
I'm
the
full of
broadcast boot
ideas.
camp.
No,
was
your
great.
job is unavailable for this as a prize, John.
Okay, thank
no
you.
doubt. Anyway, final thoughts on the Texans playing the Rams. What do you think, based on what you know about the Rams, Matthew Stafford, and this football team with an offense that's been revamped and new and improved going out to the West Coast to play this team in the opener?
I think the Rams, man, it's hard when you play these West Coast teams because we don't play them all the time. We don't see them all the time. So it's so weird. I remember us going to play Russell Wilson and them out there in Seattle a couple years. At the end.
Yeah.
Like, it took us to halftime just to even have an idea, like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
these weird formations. Like, I get why they say it's West Coast offense. These weird formations, these concepts are just not. And before you knew it, we finally got caught up to the game and it slowed down.
Right.
But it's hard. But I think the Rams, man, they're a well-coached team, obviously, with McVay. You see the coaching staff and the tree that he's had. So they're going to do it the right way. They have a quarterback in Stafford. They have a lot of young talent, great receivers. But I think right now we're hitting our stride, and I think this is a good game early on in the season to test exactly what we are as a team. I think we were right there last year. They were a playoff team. We were a playoff team.
Right.
So I think right now we'll see exactly who come out of training camp, who has their focus. They have some quarterback issues, but at the same time, that's every team in the league that's going to have
He's got
problems.
a back problem.
Okay, so
that can't be good, right?
I don't want you to rat yourself out, but is that helpful to know for a player that a player has an ankle issue? Or, you know, he's got a little bit of a
Johnny.
shoulder thing. I'm not saying you go out there and
This
you-
went
you know,
dark.
I'm just, if you know that information, look, if I'm defensive coordinator, I hit him with everything I got. And I've said that numerous times. Like, I want to test that back because I know what that was like, and I couldn't even walk for days. So I can imagine what it's like to hit the turf, and Will Anderson is standing over you having just hit you. So I just, that's the way I look at it. But, I mean, is it helpful to know those kind of things?
Absolutely, from a defender standpoint. I think it's really when you have a running back, but the quarterback also, because the quarterback never want to get hit or get touched.
Right.
So you want to keep those guys upright as much as you can, but at the same time, when you have a chance, you definitely want to, see if you can put some wood on him just because over time, when he's getting beat down, a running back, if he has a thigh or a leg injury, every time you hit him, you're trying to just constantly, because eventually you don't ever know when that ball's coming out or when he's going to fumble or lay it down.
Right. Not illegally.
No,
never illegally.
Within the
illegally,
rules.
Within the rules.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I'm promoting here. Within
Gotcha.
the rules.
I know you are. I know you. J-Joe, it's so great to see you. Thanks a lot for being with us.
No problem.
How
I'm
about it for
coaching middle
Johnathan?
school, by the way, too. And I'm coaching middle school, by the way, now.
Wait.
listen.
Stop
Okay.
the presses.
Okay.
You're coaching middle school?
Yes, Grace Presbyterian.
Well, I didn't know this.
Coaching
You're
middle
coaching
school
Grace?
football is the greatest
Yes.
thing on the face of the earth.
I think that's the best age
It's
to
so
coach.
awesome.
Right?
It is.
Because they're not ruined yet.
For sure.
You teach them the game. You teach them how many pads they have to wear. I mean, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, I enjoy it. I coached there when my son was there, and now my youngest son there and my daughter there, so I'm back over there coaching Grace. We're supposed to be in Bay Area, play Bay Area Christian today.
Okay,
So
but
I'll be there Thursday.
you'll be okay.
I'm with you guys today.
All right.
yeah.
Well, thanks a lot,
Nice.
J. Joe. That's
Nice.
great. Thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate it. I want to come to a game. It's on the West Beltway. Grace.
Yep.
I know exactly where it is. All right. Coming up, J. Joe's going to sign things here at the team shop. And Johnny and I are going to talk about the news of the day that broke earlier, a re-signing of a Texans player, and some other things on our minds before the Texans take on the Rams on Sunday. We are at the team shop. We will be back here next week with Nick Caserio live at 6 Tuesday, so you don't want to miss that. It's Texans Radio.